Good morning everybody, and welcome to yet another food vibration session with me, Tara, the Playful Vegan. I hope that you're all well and keeping your spirits up, although I know it's sometimes okay to have one of those, as I call it, pup days. Yesterday I actually ended up being in bed all day and watching series most of the day, which I do from time to time. But I found that I just felt like porridge at the end of the day, and this morning as well. So this morning I started my day with some dancing in my room. I had a solo dance party, which was awesome. It got my lymph draining, hopefully, and the blood flowing again. And yeah, I'm feeling much more energized, and the way I've been kind of surviving with this lockdown period is trying to do a bunch of different things a day, varying my activities, and just keeping it fresh. I just keep swimming. I hope that you're coping. Yeah, I just wanted to introduce the dish for today. It is one of my favorites. I'm not a huge baker, or at least I don't identify as a big baker, although I have been baking more and more lately, of course, because tis the season. And it's also, funnily enough, banana bread season at the moment. It was somebody's Facebook update the other day that asked if it was banana bread season, and I laughed so hard because I've seen so many posts of people's banana bread pictures and their banana muffins. And so I thought I would show you a recipe for one of the most amazing banana breads, plant-based, absolutely gorgeous. I love it. I make it fairly often these days, like I said, and I just find that it's the healthiest I've ever had. And I also like to switch things up a bit with the ingredients, and just you know, change the ingredients, change one or two things just to keep it fresh and interesting. So let's go through the ingredients. So we have I got some organic bananas, which is awesome, but they are not as ripe as I would like them to be. Normally I wait for bananas for a while to get brown, but unfortunately I didn't have that chance this time. Yeah, they're getting spotty, but ideally if you have bananas that are bordering on frot and really brown, you can even put them, I put mine outside in the sun on my balcony, my bedroom balcony actually, just to get them nice and sun ripened. And then of course bananas do have some vitamin C, and everybody knows, well, most people, that they have potassium as well. And then we have some lovely chopped dates. These are actually organic dates that I got from Komati Foods, which is in Lower Main Road in Obs, if you're in Cape Town, Observatory of course. I just took a really generous handful of those, and then I put them in my food processor with the S-blade just to chop them up. But you can also use a knife or even scissors. The food processor was in the washing machine the other day, the dishwasher, and I just end up cutting some with scissors. It's quite a meditative process. And I don't know if you know this about dates, but they are tremendously high in fiber, of course, and then also calcium. I don't know if you knew that. And they are rich in antioxidants as well, and they're also rich in iron. And as I said, I got organic ones from Komati Foods. Most of their stuff, if not 100%, is at least GMO free. And then you can also get organic stuff. They're open Monday to Friday at the moment, and then they also deliver, which is awesome. So yeah, very generous handful of those. And then also, still keeping it on the sweet side, is some unrefined brown sugar. I got cane sugar. I actually found some at, I think it's Pick n Pay, that they sell this brand from, I forget what the name, but it's from Mauritius, and it's unbleached, it's GMO free, and all the things that you want. But you can also use some coconut sugar, or you could use some other type of unrefined sugar. Unrefined sugar is great because it's still got its minerals intact, and it's just a 1/4 cup of that. And then let's move on to the spices. We've got some lovely organic cinnamon, Ceylon cinnamon, and some cardamom. Those are your sweet spices. And I'm going to use some vanilla extract as well. which is awesome. I love this. This is a brand from Madagascar. And then, of course, coconut oil that keeps it nice and moist. And I'm going to melt that just now before adding it. It's quite a lot of coconut oil, but it actually keeps it really nice and gooey, if that's what you want to call it. And then I've got what I'm using for the flours. It does say in the recipe buckwheat flour or gluten-free mix. It's that Whole Food Health Connections one that I use for the gluten-free mix, and so I used half of that, so it's a 3/4 of a cup of that along with 3/4 of a cup of buckwheat flour, just to kind of switch things up. And then I'm going to make my own baking powder. I've mentioned this before in a previous demo, but just in case you need reminding or this is your first time watching, what I do to make my own baking powder, because there's so many additives in baking powder, so many ingredients, which I don't like. So I basically, so you mix 2 parts cream of tartar to 1 part baking soda. And then there's also separately some baking soda in this recipe as well. But just a note on the cream of tartar, I couldn't actually find some. Usually I just get them in sachets from Pick n Pay. So I used organic baobab powder, which is like the cream of tartar of Africa. It comes from the baobab fruit. It's pretty much just the fruit in a powder form. And it's also very high in vitamin C. So yeah, that's also an immune boosting ingredient. And just now I'm going to show you how to put all the ingredients together to make this super easy, super delicious banana bread. Okay, so let's put this all together. So here I have mashed the bananas. I just sliced them initially and then mashed them with one of those potato mashers. You can also use the food processor. If you use the S-blade, then it turns it into like quite a puree, which is also fine. I just like a little bit of texture. As you can see, it's a little dimpled. And then you can also use an immersion blender if you like one of those handheld blenders. That also works. So what you want to do at this point is add the melted coconut milk. I wanted to say, if you happen to have more than 4 overripe bananas, you can put in that extra banana and then just add a little less coconut oil, just as long as there's enough fat. And then what you want to do is add the sugar, add the spices, 1 teaspoon vanilla extract. It's so worth getting proper vanilla extract rather than vanilla essence. I don't know if you know, but vanilla essence isn't actually really from vanilla, I don't think. And then you just want to, I just took one of these silicone whisks just to, oh, it smells so good. I wish you could smell it. Hopefully you will soon. And then at this point, you can add the lovely chopped dates. The original recipe that I got this from, I've adapted this, which I like to do, called for 1/2 cup of sugar, but I didn't want to use that much sugar, so I figured let me just add some dates in, and then we'll make it healthier, and then obviously the dates will sweeten it and it'll have some more texture. And then at this point you can add the sunflower seeds if you like. You can do this now, or you can add it afterwards once the flour is added. I don't know if I introduced this as the datey nutty banana bread, but yeah, that's what it's called. And nutty is also from the fact that you can use some chopped pecan nuts or walnuts instead of the sunflower seeds. They are also high in vitamin E, which is really good for the immune system, so you can do that. But if you're on a budget or you just prefer sunflower seeds because they are cheaper, then you can just use some sunflower seeds, which are awesome, and they also give it that nice crunchy texture. At this point you can add the blend of flours, or the 1 flour, that's what you're using. Oops. Yeah, one thing about me, which you might not see in these demo videos, but I'm pretty darn messy in the kitchen. I feel like that's half the fun. And when you're watching these professionals do it, you might feel like you're failing because you're making a great mess and they seem to be keeping everything neat. But trust me, most people are messy. And that's real life. And like I said, that's half the fun. If you keep cleaning up after yourself every time you do one thing, then you kind of lose that sense that it's, yeah, that sense of play, I guess. Okay, at this point now I'm just going to mix up, normally would be you'd be separating the baking powder and the baking soda, but because this homemade baking powder, you've got to mix just, you know, as needed. I'm just going to do that, just add it all together. I'm going to grab a big spoon and give it one final mix. Another thing about this baking powder, which I've said in the previous video, is it's single acting. It reacts as soon as you mix it into the mixture. And there you go, a nice, gooey, beautiful banana bread mixture with texture. And what I'm going to do at this point is I'm going to grease this loaf tin with, I'll just use coconut oil. And I'm just going to spread it evenly, put it in, and I'm going to bake it for 30 to 40 minutes in the oven on 180 degrees. And then, so you know it's ready when you've basically put a stick or a fork in it and it comes out clean. You know the drill. So yeah, I'll see you once this is baked. And the banana bread is done. Look at this beautiful, perky banana bread. Yes, I called it beautiful. So that just goes to show that this homemade baking powder of mine actually works. I think it's awesome. You can see it's quite brown. I took it out at the 35-minute mark. I didn't really need to check because I know how it looks when it's done. I've literally just taken it out. I'm gonna give it a slice. Let you see what it looks like inside. Oops. There you go. Look at this beautiful banana bread. I love the different colors from the dates and the sunflower seeds, and yeah, I'm gonna enjoy this now for breakfast. I haven't had a proper breakfast. I had some fruit earlier. What you can do, I find it sweet enough, but everybody has their own level of sweet tooth. So what's nice on this, if you do have some tahini, is to put some tahini on it, or some honey if you're doing honey. Or peanut butter even. Peanut butter and banana goes so well together. And yeah, just a note that you can actually leave this out of the fridge for a couple of days. It'll still be good. It depends how fast you eat your banana bread, but this is probably going to be inhaled pretty soon. And then just a note as well that the coconut oil, it hardens in the loaf. So if you do keep it in the fridge, then just toast it lightly, warm it somehow. You can put it in the toaster, you can put it in a pan, just so that yeah, it starts to it's not so hard when you eat it. Enjoy. I look forward to the next food vibration session. I think it's on Saturday. It's going to be another sweet dish, but a totally different kind. It's going to be a raw dish, raw dessert, which is also delicious. I hope that you have a wonderful day and that you keep well. Until next time.